A win on the Denny's PBA Tour. For those who raise the trophy at the end of each tournament, they'll be forever known as a champion. And with each title won, another ticket is punched to the PBA's biggest party. Today, we celebrate those who have achieved the PBA's ultimate prize, the Dexter Tournament of Champions, showcasing the very best of the PBA Tour. Champions who have gathered for a chance to secure their place in Denny's PBA Tour history as a major winner. Who can forget Don Johnson and the near 300 game? Earl Anthony, who won 2 TOC titles as part of his incredible 41 all-time tour wins. Mike Durbin's 3 TOCs. And Marshall Holman, a 2-time TOC winner himself. Pete Weber took home his TOC back in 1987. But no one has dominated the Tournament of Champions like Jason Couch, the only 3-peat titleist in TOC history. The Dexter Tournament of Champions starts now. From the fabulous Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino, ESPN brings you live coverage of the final event and final major of the 05-06 season, the Dexter Tournament of Champions. We have 4 superstars on the Denny's PBA Tour going for big prize money and a 2-season exemption. Now, all 4 are ready to roll.
Looking for his 2nd major title of the season, from Simpsonville, South Carolina, Tommy Jones.
Tommy Jones owns the highest winning percentage all-time on tour. Oh, and by the way, he's a perfect 7-0 in arena finals. His tremendous power and mental focus has made him the next superstar out here on tour. And you really have to ask yourself, can anyone beat Tommy Jones?
He's looking for his 8th career title and 2nd major championship. The defending champion from Yorkville, Illinois, Steve Jaros.
Steve Jaros is looking to become just the 2nd bowler and 1st since Jason Couch to win back-to-back Tournament of Champions titles. For the 2nd straight season, he's had to beat the reigning Player of the Year to make the show. His reward, a showdown with Tommy Jones.
A PBA Hall of Famer with 19 career titles. Today he looks for his 1st major title since 1989. From Barquisimeto, Venezuela, Amleto Monacelli.
Amleto Monacelli is the only international player ever to be inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame. At age 44, he's by far the best conditioned athlete in our sport. And with a win today, he will become the oldest player ever to win this prestigious event.
Last year's U.S. Open champion is gunning for his 1st title of the season and the 7th of his career. From Flower Mound, Texas, Chris Barnes.
Chris Barnes is making back-to-back shows for the 10th time in his career. His last win was a major at the 62nd U.S. Open. Today, he looks to break out of a major TV slump and win his 7th tour title.
These are your finalists competing for the title of the 2006 Dexter Tournament of Champions.
The PBA returns to the Mohegan Sun Arena for the 5th time, the 4th straight year. The Dexter Tournament of Champions has been contested here. A lot on the line today, big money and a multi-season exemption. We started with 32 bowlers, the most 28 recent PBA champs. In addition, 2 members of the senior PBA Tour and 2 regional representatives. From the round of 32 to the round of 8 last night, we had best of 5 match play. Hello and welcome, bowling fans, for the final time this year in the regular season. We say it, Sundays are for bowling. Dave Ryan joined, as usual, by Randy Peterson as special guest commentator for the entire show. It's Jason Couch, 3 times a TOC champ yourself.
Awful comfortable in this environment today, guys. It's a pleasure to work with you.
Glad to have Jason with us, and thoughts from Erica Herskowitz, lane level with her interviews in a moment. Randy, let's start with you. 2nd semifinal, give us a preview.
Amleto Monacelli, Chris Barnes, an intriguing matchup. Both players looking to get back to their winning ways. The Hall of Famer Amleto Monacelli, 25 years on tour, 19 titles. Really a feel-good story for this season. At 44 years of age, still in terrific physical shape, but he said maybe this is his last chance at winning a major. Chris Barnes, well, his last win, a big one. The U.S. Open last season, a major, $100,000, just like this tournament. But for Barnes, his biggest opponent is himself and television, as he must somehow find a way to exercise his own personal demons.
Interesting second semifinal today here from Connecticut. Jason Couch, let's turn to you to talk about the first one. Now, you know the challenge ahead for Steve Jaros. You won this event 3 times. He tried to defend his title today.
Awful tough task with Tommy Jones, Steve Jaros in this matchup. Jaros is the defending champion of this event. It's very difficult to defend a title on the Denny's PBA Tour. Jaros will be trying to save a somewhat mediocre year, but tells us that he likes his chances against Tommy Jones today. Jones is probably the hottest bowler on tour, bar none. He has Player of the Year locked up already, but if he wins today, it would give him Hall of Fame credentials, and it would give him second in earnings all time for one season.
Jason, all 4 of our bowlers have 1 career major each. Steve Jaros and Tommy Jones have never met before on TV. That changes today. Amleto Monacelli has battled a leg injury all year long. That's limited his effectiveness. He faces Chris Barnes. Let's head down now, lane level, and say hello to Erica Herskowitz, joined by the first 2 semifinalists.
All right, Dave. Steve, you won here last year. What does your mindset have to be to successfully defend your title?
Obviously, this week we got to throw a lot of strikes. Tommy's one of the hottest players on tour, and I think you always have to throw a lot of strikes to beat him anyway. So if I can keep some of the string going from last night, we'll be all right.
Thank you. Tommy, you've won 4 titles this year, including 1 major. How would you best describe the pressure you're feeling to continue the success you've had?
Well, I don't think there's any pressure, you know. I mean, I've had an unbelievable ride. We're just going to ride until, you know, the ride's over, and it's not over yet, so I'm going to win another title today.
Thank you. Dave, back to you.
All right, Erica. Tommy Jones is confident. $100,000 to the winner, 30 grand to the runner-up, 10 each for 3rd and 4th place. And for a lot of these bowlers, the 2-season exemption is even more important to be exempt for 2 more full years on the Denny's PBA Tour. A great crowd today here at the Mohegan Sun Arena. And a guy who's been lights out in arena TV shows. He has never lost in this setting in his career. Tommy Jones. Starts the 2006 Dexter Tournament of Champions.
Have some fun. Let's go.
Like a champion. And Jason, he's already in this match pretty well, isn't he?
Well, obviously Tommy's a little fired up today, as he should be. He's been bowling great all year. But the interesting story today, guys, is going to see how Steve Jaros' ball reaction is. He has not thrown a game on 3 and 4 all week.
That's a good point. Also, it's pretty easy for Tommy to come out and throw a strike right off the bat, seeing how he's made a couple $100,000, won 4 times, and got a pretty loose swing, wouldn't you say?
That tends to loosen up the swing just a bit.
Great start, Steve Jaros as well. The last time we saw him here in Uncasville, he was raising the trophy for his first ever major championship. Our first Ace Hardware matchup, Randy, of our broadcast today. Tommy Jones, what a year. Probably Player of the Year, no question about that. And then Steve Jaros trying to rebound again late in the season as he did last year.
Hottest player on tour versus a guy that won here last season. I don't know. You think it's a coin toss, Jay?
It is. I think both players they look lined up. I know Jaros had a little better look at the on the practice session, so let's see what happens on this left lane.
Great shot.
Going right at the 1-3 pocket, guys, and each bowler looks lined up early.
Steve Jaros had the choice of starting lane, and he chose to have Tommy Jones start the match, which makes Tommy Jones finish on the right lane. And Jay, when you and I were down lane side watching the guys warm up, it seemed like the right lane was just a little bit tighter down the lane, and some of the guys were leaving weak 10s.
In fact, Tommy told me that he had the front of the lane hooking a little earlier today, which could cause that flat 10, but right there absolutely shreds the rack.
Yeah, we got in that good spot. And the guys in the round of 8 really stepped it up this week. Against Richie Allen, Tommy Jones averaged 272. But, you know, we really got to tip our hat to Richie Allen. 3 years in a row here at Mohegan Sun, he makes it to the round of 8.
It's amazing how well he seems to bowl in this environment.
Great run for TJ again. This guy's got a winning percentage of over 820 in his PBA career on TVs. Almost unbeatable. One TV match loss this year. That was in Hammond, Indiana. Otherwise, he's been perfect. 4 titles. And what looks to be a certain Krishenko Player of the Year award, his first in his great career.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say.
You know, guys, just watching the first couple of shots that Tommy has thrown, he's obviously in his comfort zone. When he can get up against the ball return, open up the lane a little bit to the right, he just absolutely looks unbeatable. What a great shot, and get 9 out of that.
Deja vu.
Well, he left one last year against Norm Duke in the title match, Jason, and this may be the only thing that can stop Steve Jaros. He's proven he can beat the best in the game, and he's going up against the best player right now. You're right. That's an awful time to leave a stone 8.
You really can't harp on it, though. You got to just take your time, make another good shot right after that. He couldn't have thrown it any better.
Takes care of the marks. He comes to us from just outside Chicago. And he told us last night that
All right, 9 more shots like that.
his wife June, twin children Evan and daughter Hannah, as we see his road here, including defeating last year's Player of the Year Patrick Allen 5 games in the round of 8. His family's home in suburban Chicago because last year they couldn't make it out on such short notice, and he won the TOC. Didn't want to mess around with the karma this year, so they're watching from home again today on TV.
Yeah, in the 5th game against Patrick Allen last night, the 5th and determining game, Steve Jaros shoots .299.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Keep throwing them like that, they're bound to go down at some point. But when you're bowling Tommy Jones, you better hurry up and get going.
Yeah, but Jason, as high as the scores were this week, you got a guy, your opponent starts with the front 3, and you've thrown 4 perfect shots, and you're shooting 2-0. I mean, how disheartening is that?
Obviously, you got to feel like your back's against the wall already, and it's only the 4th frame. So he better pick it up here pretty soon. I mean, I don't know what he can do to do anything better. They've been great shots, but you cannot let Tommy get out in front of you.
Not the way Mr. Jones has been bowling on television. This guy has been lights out from near the Greenville, Spartansburg, South Carolina area. Big Gamecock fan. Sorry, Jason, I know you're an SEC Florida guy, but
that's okay.
We'll have to let that go for today, right?
Why are you apologizing? They just won the national championship.
That's right.
In hoops.
See how far left he is. That's a high ball, however, and a split to deal with for Jones.
Well, it looked like he got the shot on the left lane in, and it held pocket. And one of the things about this week was there was help left and right. With the 50-foot pattern, the guys got in. They let the oil float the ball to the right. But Jason, to me, it looked just like a dead yank, and of course he pays the penalty.
I think if he would have thrown that shot on the left lane, he gets away with it. But on that right lane with the front of the lane hooking a little bit earlier in the heads, I think that he cannot make that mistake of getting the ball down early and in. Wow,
leaves a 6-pin, so an open frame in the 4th. Tommy Jones, we talked about it just before his first ball today. Perfect in Arena TV finals, including this year Japan and Tulsa to open up our season. U.S. Open win was not held in an arena setting.
Much better shot. Got that ball out and to the right a little bit. Gave it room to get back into the pocket.
It's interesting. The ball he's using is a ball that Patrick Allen actually laid out for him for his round of 8 match. And what does he do? He comes out and shoots .820 with it the first 3 games. Then he changes balls. As the lanes start to break down, that ball's pretty aggressive. As the lanes break down, he changes to another ball, and, well, he bowls a huge game, 268 against Richie Allen, 4th and deciding game.
Bird's eye view, Steve Jaros.
It looks perfect. Steve is playing a much more direct line, and that may favor the right lane today. We'll have to see what kind of move he makes on this next shot.
And lower rev players using a little cleaner ball, so maybe his ball doesn't read the front part of the lane as early.
Absolutely.
Steve Jaros, no stranger to TV. 15 straight years, he's made at least one show
All right, come on, just roll it.
And now 10 straight years with at least 2 TV appearances. Exactly a year ago, guys. April 9th, 2005, won his first career major. Will this date be good to him again? Looks like a nice start. Jaros stays clean. The open for Jones in the fourth frame. We'll see how that affects him. With midway through our first semifinal, the season finale of the Dexter Tournament of Champions. More on the way for the Mohegan Sun. That is a 7-story waterfall located at the Shops in Mohegan Sun. Connected to our arena here, a 34-story hotel, 1,200 luxury guest rooms. It is something. Mohegan Sun Arena midway through first semifinals. Guys, let's break down the oil pattern 50 feet special major pattern, Randy.
Yeah, it's the longest pattern we bowl on. Keep in mind the lane is only 60 feet long. This week, though, the players had a little bit of help to the right. That's why the scores were so high. A little bit of a friction zone to the right. So the players, depending on how much they hooked it, they would move just left of that and then throw to that dry hook spot down the lane. And as the lanes broke down because of the thin application, Jason, they just kept migrating in.
Absolutely. Just keep chasing it in and watch your ball reaction get better and better.
Resuming the first semifinal. Barnes, Monacelli to follow in the second. Tommy Jones. Leading candidate for Player of the Year. Down 13 pins, works on a strike. He's still in, guys. He's pretty far left here. 6th frame.
Look out.
Help. Oh,
Are you kidding me?
The Midas touch continues.
Ha-ha.
It actually looked like he got that a little right at target, and that ball still picked up and came back.
Well, do you think he made an adjustment and moved further left after he went through the Schnozola the last time he was on that lane?
Absolutely. Probably a good move on Tommy's part. He knows if he moves in a little further, that he can push the ball a little further to the right, and it'll still return.
What a huge break.
Absolutely.
That's a big shot, no question. Just down 3 pins now. Looks for the turkey, 7th frame. This is the PBA's all-time leader, winning percentage. On TV, there's a 10-pin, no break this time. And guys, I want to get your opinion. Why does Tommy Jones win so much on television? Randy, let's start with you.
Because he's really good. Were you looking for something more prophetic than that? And this guy is really, really good from any angle, from any spot on the lane. And once he figured out he was a winner, it was over from there.
I would have to say that watching Tommy grow up and bowling amateur events with him in the past, he did not know how to win early on in his career. When he came out on tour, he struggled a little bit on TV, but now he knows he can win. And if you've got confidence with a game like his, no telling how many titles he can win.
Can he ever win? 8 victories in the last 2 years, possibly a Dexter Tournament of Champions title to add to that incredible windfall of success. Jaros, our defending champ. Straight line nearly to the pocket, and it's been successful.
And Jason Couch, all of a sudden, you know, that little straight powder puff that Steve Jaros is throwing, if he didn't leave a solid 8 ring at 10, he'd have the front 7. Right now, Tommy Jones, with all that power, just left a weak 10 on that left lane. Steve Jaros looks like he's in cruise control right now.
Well, you know, I think Steve playing a more direct line early on the pattern may be a benefit.
Right,
but if he happens to get through this match, he may struggle if he does not chase the oil line quick enough.
That ball's listening, Steve, no doubt about it. Second TV appearance for him this year. We saw him in Akron a few weeks back when Chris Collins eventually won his first title.
You heard Steve Jaros the last time he was up, Jason. He said, come on, just roll it. And we talked to the players. They talked about having a soft hand and being nice to it and rolling it. What are they trying to do?
With the 50-foot pattern, it's very thin. And if you happen to, like we say out here, jump on the finger holes, that ball's going to hook early, and it's going to do nothing down the lane and bail. So what they have to do is stay soft with their hand, stay up the back of it, and that ball will just skid through the front of the lane and have a lot more back end.
Corey.
All 10 down to the pit there for Tommy Jones. See the max numbers, bottom left of your screen.
Tommy Jones taking a re-rack on the left lane, Jason, and in my opinion, if he doesn't strike out, he has no chance of winning this match. Right now, he's in the 2 teens. If he strikes out, he can shoot 244. Steve Jaros can shoot 268.
Guys, in 2 weeks, ESPN brings you the Motel 6 Roll the Riches special presentation. The postseason event features the 4 major winners from this season, as well as 2 PBA stars chosen via the online vote, who will battle for the largest prize on the PBA Tour, $200,000. Scroggins, Jones, Walter Ray Williams Jr. already are in. We'll find out what happens today to tell you about the other participants. Late help there goes
Bird dog. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Looked like Tommy went in there and gave it a little extra for that shot. He knew he needed it.
Did he give it the business there?
I think he did.
Head pin goes to the sidewall. Here it comes. It's hunting. Get down.
All right, come on. Time.
Tommy told us last night he's able to slow himself down when it comes to TV. Relax. Well, Steve Jaros, in my mind, one of the most laid-back, relaxed guys on tour. He's had a lot of success, too, on TV. Big shot.
Come on.
Wow. The feet to success on the 50-foot pattern. That's a big one.
I tell you what, Jaros looks really dialed in. And when I watched practice earlier today, he did look the most lined up before we started the show.
Just his ball's just reading the pattern better. You talked about, you know, the light layer, or the light
volume of oil.
Volume, that's the word. Thanks, Jay. The light volume of oil, his ball, because it's a lower rev ball, doesn't read it as early as the higher rev guys like a Chris Barnes and Tommy Jones. Read it.
Almost a love tap there, but that ball looked like he just missed it. I mean, that ball had nothing through the pins.
Almost an 8-10. He needs a mark here and 8, and he will advance to the title match.
That's what he needs. Spare plus 8. Randy said it. There's the 10-pin. 10 pins haven't been easy for all the bowlers this week. Danny Wiseman, last year's Masters champ, had a couple of flag 10s against Tommy Jones.
Cost him the match.
Sure did. Games 3 and 5 in a round of 16. That's no gimme.
Just roll it.
Pocket hit breakdown.
He just left on a week 10, guys. 3 strikes, pocket hits. Everybody's going to strike.
Winner.
Come on.
Awful good game bowled there. Looks like it's comfortable.
Pretty strong.
Steve Jaros has beaten our Chris Schenkel Award winner.
One step closer.
It will be Tommy Jones. But how about Steve Jaros? Knocks off the PBA's all-time win percentage leader on TV. And now he's 1 step shy from 2 TOC titles in a row.
The one shot on the right lane when he split. It's the difference in this match.
Just looked like Tommy looked awful uncomfortable after that shot, Randy.
And he comes back and he goes light, and then the last 2 have been high flush. Not meant to be today, but what a fantastic season for Tommy Jones.
An absolute dream season.
That's how he described it to us last night. 4 wins, and now what will be the 6 shows, his first ever major. And as he said last night, guys, sometimes in sports, he played basketball and baseball growing up in South Carolina. There are a lot of streaks. He had a great streak going of winning all those tournaments. His luck turns a little bit today, and Steve Jaros makes it happen. He'll take on either Chris Barnes or Amleto Monacelli for the 2006 Dexter TOC title.
And now, shooting in the 9th.
A lot of money, Chris. Could you hold that ball?
Nope.
Let's watch it. 10,000, 25,000. For 9. 9 in a row, Chris.
Ready to go. Two to go.
looks up at the overhead sheet, and you know the story. He needs exactly 1 strike.
And Don, you're a real champion, and here's a trophy from Firestone as the champion of the Tournament of Champions, and incidentally, inside's a little check for $25,000. Wow. Thank you, Bob.
Great history. What memories, Don Johnson back in 1970. Here in 2006, great crowd here at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut. Steve Jaros has knocked off Tommy Jones, 247-233 in the first semifinal. Second, coming up in a few moments, Chris Barnes, Amleto, Monacelli. We saw the great history a moment ago with Don Johnson. How about some more history to tell you about this year's top 5 moments? We start our list outside Omaha, Nebraska, Council Bluffs, Iowa. Mike Machuga going for his first ever title, and there was so much on the line emotionally for Mike, wasn't there?
Sure, always a lot of emotions when you're trying to win your first title. And what a way to celebrate. Kids, do not do this at home.
Oh, man, he promised us if he ever won a tour title, he'd give us the Machuga flop, and he delivered. Number 4, Pete Weber, Hammond, Indiana. BowlersParadise.com Classic, going for his first tour title since the passing of his legendary father, Dick.
His most emotional and most important win in his entire career. This one was for Dad.
Right there. Right there.
An amazing day for PDW. Number 3, Brash, Sean Rash. Yeah, just 23 years old. Valentine's Day weekend, turning the Denny's PBA Tour on its ear with an incredible performance.
This guy made every split in the book, including a super washout, and threw a lot of important strikes. Mike Devaney needs the first hit in the 10th frame to win. Denied. Ringing 10, Sean Rash, the first player to ever go from the TQR to win a title.
His dad flew overnight from Anchorage, Alaska to see it all. Number 2, Tommy Jones, U.S. Open, New Jersey, goes for his first ever major title, trying to seal out Player of the Year honors in the process.
This tournament was Tommy Jones from the beginning.
Yeah! That's right, that's right!
He used a lot of power and a lot of loft to win his first ever major and wrap up, in my mind, Player of the Year honors.
This one means everything.
And number 1, just a couple of weeks back in Indy, Woodland Bowl, the Denny's World Championship, Walter Ray Williams Jr. goes for his 41st career title, trying to tie Earl Anthony's all-time record.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. This man is the greatest player to ever throw a bowling ball. Yeah. On his 7th try, he ties Earl's record and wins his 7th major.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
What a season we've had. A Dexter TOC winner to follow. On the road, the Denny's PBA Tour. The Roll the Riches. The event takes place April 13th, Louisville, Texas, near Dallas. Our TV show, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, April 23rd. Skills Challenge presented by Denny's. Sunday, April 16th, 1 Eastern Time. The PBA kicks off its senior tour season with an event near the nation's capital, Manassas, Virginia. We're in Hawaii as well on the Spare Time Recreation, Angleton, Texas, and the Houston area too, near the Gulf of Mexico. That's on the road with the Denny's PBA Tour. Upcoming PBA events. Log on to PBA.com for tickets and get them today. Coming up, Monacelli, Barnes, second semifinal next. Steve Jaros has knocked off Tommy Jones. 247-233 in the first semifinal. Amleto, Monacelli, and Chris Barnes to follow. Jaros will take on the winner. Joined now by Erica Herskowitz, lane level with the second 2 semifinals.
All right, Dave. Amleto, it's been 17 years since you won your last major. What would a win today mean for your Hall of Fame career?
Well, actually, it means a lot because I haven't been there for such a long time. At the same time, I never really think about it's a major, no major. To me, winning a title, you know, it's just the same excitement as any other titles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, the last time you went on TV was at last year's U.S. Open. What could you take from that experience and apply here today?
Well, you always take some good things away from a win. You know, my struggles on TV are well documented, and probably if they weren't happening to me, would be fairly comical to me. But I'm going to get out of the way, and I have some loyal supporters here, and I'm going to let them carry me to wherever I'm meant to be.
Thank you. Dave?
Erica, thank you. Interesting answers from each. We'll break those down in a moment. Amleto and Chris Barnes, last 7 major winners. Lucky 7. Well, Chris Barnes, Steve Jaros last year, the TOC, tried to defend later today in the final. And Tommy Jones, dispatched by the Chicago area resident Steve Jaros today. 25 years for the first ever foreign-born PBA Hall of Famer. One of our legends, Amleto, gets his TOC day going. A little bit off the mark.
He looked lost in practice, and he's a little indecisive, and I think Amleto needs to commit to a certain shot he wants to throw and just get it done.
Which shot are we talking, Jason? What look to the pocket?
Just looked like he was a little lost. I think if he could probably just stay in that same spot and just throw it a little slower, I think he'd give that ball more time to get back.
We're joined in the booth today by Jason Couch, 11-time Denny's PBA Tour titleist, 3-time TOC winner, as Amleto covers in his first frame. Goes for his first major win since 1989. He has had a difficult go of it with a leg injury we'll tell you about. Now to Barnes. Well, Randy, I give Chris Barnes credit, as I did last week on the show. He faces up to the fact he struggled on TV.
Yeah, he said that he played him wrong in practice, broke the lanes down wrong in practice, and about 90 seconds to air, he had air. And this is a great match, a Hall of Fame career versus a guy that really would like to turn things around on television and end up with 19 career wins like Amleto Monacelli. I would think Chris Barnes is, again, he's a bona fide superstar out here. He's a great player, but he struggles on television.
They both had almost the identical averages, so this should be a great matchup.
8th year on tour for Chris. He's won 6 titles from just outside Dallas. Originally from Kansas.
Well, he looks awful lined up right there, and Amleto better make a decision and commit to it and start striking.
As he told Erica a moment ago, hoping the fans here in Connecticut propel him to victory. His wife Linda, twin sons Ryan and Troy. Back home near Dallas, watching on TV today. Amleto's son, Amleto Emmanuel, 9 years old, is watching. Back home in Barquisimeto, Venezuela. He told us his young son, not much of a bowler, he's got great form, but he loves soccer. That's the sport down there for him. In a country where they've celebrated Ozzie Guillen's White Sox World Series mightily. Road to the show here. He won the Jackson Hewitt Tax Service Open in Akron last year. That's how he got into the field of 32 here. And Pete Weber, boy, he came through late, Jason, didn't he, in that match?
He sure did. It was a great match.
Amleto needed double in 9, 10th frame of the last game to shut Pete out, and got it.
Wow, looks like he actually moved a little further right on that shot. First ball went light. He did throw it softer on the right lane, but on that left lane, he did make a move back to the right to get a little closer to the friction zone.
And now he can breathe.
We're seeing some emotion there in his interview a moment ago with Erica. Very soft-spoken. He is a quiet type. There is Barnes and his road to TV over Mika Koivuniemi, former Player of the Year. Last night here, the round of 8, 5-gamer. See how far left Barnes is.
Oh! Holding on the offense.
Holding offense.
That's how he averaged 250 this week.
Exactly how they averaged 250 this week. Got to have a little lane help left and right of target, don't you, Jade, to average 250?
I mean, we are the best in the world out here, but everybody needs a little room, especially to throw the scores we did this week.
Said last week, his warm-up time, as Randy pointed out, was just wasted. A rookie mistake. And by the time he realized it with his layout and his strategy, the oil he had carved in warm-ups, he was done. Looks a lot more comfortable here. Yes, says he learned from what happened last week. We'll see if it works out for him.
Jake, Jason, his mindset coming into today was he had to bowl 258 or better to win. You can see how his hand stays the inside part of the ball. He's got one of the tightest thumb holes on tour, so you know his grip pressure is awfully soft. And he, too, was talking about that soft hand and being nice to it at release.
Absolutely. With the thin volume, just get that ball into a roll. Don't catch the finger holes too hard and get it started too early.
Barnes' battle of back injury is finally healthy from. Amleto. He's coming in high, but a 4-pin for him. He has had to overcome an abductor injury near his groin, right leg, but it's been very painful. First aggravated it in October, and then really had some recurring issues in Buffalo a few weeks back on the Denny's PBA Tour. He says, when I'm bowling a few minutes in, I get some pain. He told you in the warm-ups he was okay, though, Jason, right?
He did. I talked to Amleto right before we came on the air, and he said that he felt really good. It just looks like he's indecisive right now. What do you think, Randy?
Yeah, he just doesn't look real comfortable. I think he's playing deeper than he wanted to play. Not a good place to be when your opponent starts with a front four.
Amleto very much into physical fitness. 4 or 5 times a week will run up to 8 miles per outing. A lot of stretching, a lot of work in the weight room. He's in tremendous shape. And he tells us when he's running, no trouble with the leg. When he's bowling, he has a lot of pain. He's had a lot of work with a physical therapist to try to get better. Been a frustrating year for him. Winning today would erase a lot of that frustration.
It's a good thing he started striking there, Randy, because if Barnes gets another couple, Amleto's going to be in some big trouble.
Yeah, he can still shoot 269, which may or may not be enough to win, but you know, the way the matches went this week, like you said, Jason, the big scores, and the Amleto Monacelli, just an amazing career, 25 years out here for a guy that, you know, it's not real easy for him to just take a couple days off and go home. I mean, it's a full week's travel going all the way back to South America. Just shows you how dedicated he is.
Barnes stays perfect.
Corbin, I'm not hearing you at all in my headset, just so you know. I can't hear promos, I can't.
It's the Motel 6 frame. Chris Barnes has thrown the front 5. With a strike in the 6th, he'll earn $600 from Motel 6, the official lodging partner of the PBA. He'll also be eligible for a $6,000 bonus if he throws the front 6 more than any other bowler on TV this year.
Yes, I can.
A little extra financial incentive here for Barnes.
Oh, what a great break. And
he'll have it.
I'll tell you what, guys. This is the start that Chris Barnes wanted. He wants to erase those demons off his back.
Yeah, and maybe all it took was a high-scoring pattern on a pattern where he didn't really have to overthink it. He just gets up and throws shots. He knows where to look, knows where to stand. All he's got to do is pry it off like he does on this shot right here.
Oh!
Chris Barnes has had a perfect start. A big shout out to all his family in Texas. They're watching the first 6 strikes for Barnes, going for a 300 game against Amleto. Semifinal resumes next. Welcome back, everyone. The fabulous Mohegan Sun Resort, Casino, and Arena. We're midway through second semifinal. Steve Jaros takes on the winner of this match. Chris Barnes has the front 6 against Amleto Monacelli. Guys, let's check out the Dexter approach. We go old school this week, Randy.
Yeah, we go old school. The Hall of Famer Mike Durbin, who has done something that has never, ever been duplicated in the history of the Professional Bowlers Tour. He won the Tournament of Champions 3 times using 3 different approaches. Right there, it was a 3-step approach. 4-step approach in 1982. Look how solid he hits the foul line. And a 5-step approach in 1984. The great one, Mike Durbin. 3 TSCs, but not 3 Tournament of Champions back to back to back like Jason Couch.
Repeat. Jason Couch is joining us. You see the banners of the PBA champs, and Mr. Couch is there, the lefty from Claremont. Are you the best Claremont, Florida bowler? Is a question with Randy and Norm Duke in the same hometown.
I got to tell you, Dave, there's a lot of stiff competition in the Claremont area.
I'll bet.
That was very kind, Jason. That was very kind.
Amleto's in a huge hole here, guys. 6 frame. And a ringing 10-pin.
That was a good shot.
What are you going to do? I mean, you couldn't have thrown that shot any better. And he knows he needed to get going right there.
Yeah, absolutely. That was almost, again, because of the high scores this week, now he's in a hole where if he spares here, the best he can now shoot is 249. Chris Barnes is already in the 240s. He's dug himself a deep hole.
See tour exemptions, bottom of your screen there. One name you will not see belongs to Mitch Beasley. Through the regionals, did get an exemption, but has deferred his exemption to next year, the year after, actually, because of a military commitment. So because of that, an extra spot available. The tour trials this year, 10 places will be up for grabs.
Yeah, you won't see my name either, Dave. That's another name you won't see.
Sorry to hear that, Randy.
That's all right.
Great career for you.
Thanks, buddy.
Another 10-pin for Amleto, who told us last night what a difficult year it's been. He is exempt, will bowl next year in between 16 and 21 events, depending on the schedule. But he had so much passion for trying to get back on top, win another major.
This game just looks the same. Oh,
flag.
You know, that's just lack of concentration from not striking when his ball hits the pocket and trying to figure out a way to get it to strike. But just an amazing career over the years, Jason. I roomed with Amleto when he first came out and hardly spoke any English, and you know, he's just as green as could be, and little by little started to evolve. He had a bunch of seconds in a row for a long time, and then finally broke out and won in Japan, his first title, and then it's just been a Hall of Fame career from there.
Barnes goes for 7 straight here, guys. Has it.
That's a great shot by Chris. He knows he's got the match in hand now. Now all he's looking towards is maybe popping off the last 5.
I'm not going to mention that.
I didn't mention any game.
That
just
score.
5.
Okay. 5 more, but I'm not going to mention the score.
I'll mention it.
Go ahead, Dave.
It's been done 16 times. And we've had 3 perfect games this week at this year's TOC, including the guy to my right, Jason Couch, and Amleto and Tommy Jones. 2 of the 3 made the show.
Barnes taking a re-rack on the left lane. That's the same lane that Tommy Jones took a re-rack on in the first match.
Why do you think they're taking re-racks on that lane? Is it a bad rack, or are they trying to buy time?
I just think they're trying to buy time.
Tries for his 8. 10-pin.
And thanks, Dave. Professor Positive.
Once again, the black cloud comes out of Mr. Ryan.
It wasn't going to be you or me, was it?
My job is not to worry about jinxes. It's to report the news. That's what I do.
All right.
Would have been the 17th. We won't have. And, of course, the last time, Jason Couch knows it well because he bowled against Mika Koivuniemi in Connecticut in 03. Wins or locks, our last TV 300 on the Denny's PBA Tour.
And I bowled 258 that match, and, you know, that wasn't good that week, and I don't think it's going to be good this week.
Pretty good shot here, isn't it, Jay? I mean, maybe, if anything, gets it in the oil, just a pinch, which pushes it down the lane, that fraction. Ball comes in just a shade late, leaving a ring in 10.
Season will end here for Amleto, but it's been brilliant for him.
I got to tell you, when he shot that first 10-pin, he did look like he pulled up a little bit, as in he re-hurt himself, and I don't know if that might have caused him to miss that second 10-pin, but he doesn't look as solid at the line that last shot.
Well, he said last night, he told us that it hurts him more when he shoots spares than when he throws a strike ball, and well, he'll have some time off now in the summer to rehab and get better for next year, and this will leave a good taste in his mouth and make him even hungrier for next season.
You know, he did say last night, guys, that no matter where he finished this week, it was a great week for him because he was just happy to make TV again, especially in a major.
First time all year we've seen Amleto on television. And he's going to go to work with his physical therapist, doctor he's worked with down in Venezuela with his leg injury, potentially for a little sports academy business they have in mind down there. Train athletes having to do with nutrition, mental approach, focus, sports psychology, weightlifting, so the whole ball of wax for athletes from that part of the world. He was here on TV in 03, tied for 3rd. Overland Park, Kansas. Jason, you know about that event, right?
I do. That was my first win in the Tournament of Champions. Chris was a great opponent that day. Fortunately for me, I came out on top.
Well, 3 in a row for Jason Couch, our special guest commentator today. We had Norm Duke with us last week.
Oh, goodness.
Wow, that's way off, but luckily it's...
Pitch out.
Over and done with in this semifinal. A little baseball reference.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't think there was a catcher ready for a ball that wide.
It was hard to do this week, wasn't it?
Well, you know, I think he's getting loose. You know, he's had a good game under his belt now. And normally Chris trying to fishes around for a ball reaction, you know, if he's got the match in hand. But that was just an absolutely horrible shot.
It is over. Barnes
got that one this week.
Jaros head-to-head for the 2006 Dexter Tournament of Champions title. Can Steve Jaros defend? Can Barnes win his first ever TOC, second career major?
Nice finish, thanks.
Is he preparing for the next game, or are those shots just way off?
That's a little disturbing to me. I mean, fishing for a look is one thing, but flagging the head pin right 2 shots in a row on a pattern where you're trying to kind of keep it in the oil and not really look for the right.
Hey, Kevin, we're still going fishing tomorrow.
He's got some plans.
Speaking of fishing.
Apparently. No matter what happens here.
Great week for Amleto.
He'll be back. Definitely be back.
One of the most recognized athletes in his native Venezuela. He speaks Italian, Spanish, and of course English very well. Falls to Chris Barnes today.
Tried to move my eyes right, that didn't work out too good.
So many great champions associated with this arena, this event. There's Johnny Petraglio. 14 career titles and a member of the PBA Hall of Fame as well. More history to talk about.
Chris, the important thing, if he doesn't strike, there's only 2 pins difference, remember. He needs a strike on this ball.
And this ball is on the right lane, the left-hander, Johnny Petraglio.
The crowd is very tense.
So short, coming high.
Anthony, and he has won the $25,000 first prize almost in disbelief. Look at him.
Congratulations. I know you can't shake hands, you have your hands full. That's just wonderful.
By the way, that check inside here is $25,000. A quick comment.
Oh, it's beautiful, Chris. I don't know what to say. That's more money I've ever seen in my life.
How about some time-lapse photography for you? This is how this incredible arena at the Mohegan Sun gets put together. Very high speed.
Those guys are fast.
Just an amazing facility. So glad to be here again for the Dexter Tournament of Champions here on the Denny's PBA Tour. And a great crowd to enjoy the final. Special thanks to Bob Yellen, Director of Sports Entertainment here at the Mohegan Sun. Let's check in now with the Geico Championship recap. Randy, we're set for the finals. Barnes head-to-head with Jaros.
In semifinal number 1, defending champ Steve Jaros. Well, he takes on the hottest player in the world, Tommy Jones, and he beats him by the score 247-233. Semifinal number 2, Chris Barnes taking on Amleto Monacelli. Barnes starts with the front 7, proves to be too much for Amleto. Setting up a great championship match for the 2006 Dexter Tournament of Champions.
Timeout here in Uncasville. Steve Jaros tries to defend his title. He'll battle Chris Barnes. One comes out a winner. 2006 Dexter Tournament of Champions. Find out who it is next. This is it, the final. Jaros, Barnes, 4th and final major of our season. And the finalists joined now by Erica Lane Level.
Chris, you're on your way to a 300 game, then you left that 10 pin. What kind of score do you think it's going to take to beat Steve today?
Well, all week, anything less than 250 leaves itself pretty vulnerable, and even then, sometimes. Steve hasn't lost a match here in 2 years, and there's a reason, so I'm sure it's going to have to be big.
Thanks. Steve, this is almost a repeat of last year. You bowled great down the stretch of the season. You won this event last year. What do you think it's going to take to get it done again against Chris?
Well, again, I mean, Chris came out and just threw a fantastic game, and he doesn't get here because he throws bad shots. I mean, he's great in a clutch, and if he's going to need one, I expect him to pure it. So I think a lot of strikes and just try to keep pushing him. We'll see what happens.
Thanks. Dave?
Very good, Steve. Chris, thank you for your time. Special thanks as well to Bud Clapsaddle, National Sales Manager for Dexter, title sponsor of the Dexter Tournament of Champions. And in addition to being the sponsor of this event, Dexter, along with the USBC, recently announced their joint sponsorship of the Dexter USBC High School All-American team that will provide 5 young men and 5 young women with collegiate scholarships. Congratulations to the lucky 7 winners, 3 of their friends who will bowl with a Dexter PBA staff member at their hometown bowling center as well. Second ever TV head-to-head matchup. Barnes goes for a 7th title. He is 1-0 lifetime. Under the lights, head-to-head with Jaros.
Oh! Ball change. Looks like he moved further in.
Further in and more around it, or is he? I mean, because further in hasn't worked for anybody yet today.
No, it hasn't. Just looks like he's got a little more rotation around the ball. Get that ball to store a little bit longer, pop a little harder.
I mean, Amleto just shot 191 from way in. Steve Jaros may have a huge advantage here because you know he's not going to be way in. He's going to be playing them pretty straight.
Jaros spins for his 8th title, 2nd major. He's going right out of the pocket, guys. And he's there.
Much further to the right than Barnes, much further.
Yeah, and as long as he can get his ball to not read the front part of the lane, he's going to be pretty tough for Chris Barnes to handle. Both players have a major. Steve Jaros, a lot of experience, been out here a lot longer than Chris, but again, Chris being all-world, I think the advantage has to go to Jaros. If he can stay there and get his ball through the front part of the lane, I think the straighter you can go on this pattern, the better off you are.
Absolutely.
On it. Just roll it. Come on.
Wow, ringing 10-pin, the definition.
What a great shot.
You got this.
Take another look at this ring and 10 that Steve Jaros leaves. And Jason, I'm going to ask you the question. What went through your mind when you were trying to defend for the first time? What were the thoughts? What were you thinking?
It's absolutely enormous pressure defending any title, but when it's a major, I mean, you just feel like everybody's on your back, you know, you're just carrying everything, and you just got to go out there, and I just told myself, you know, you have to take it one shot at a time and make good shots. Knowing Steve as well as I do, he's gotten a lot more calm in his, you know, years of experience, and I think he'll do just fine under the pressure.
Barnes stays left. That's high, and there's a split. Wow.
I don't understand why you would make that kind of move if the other guys have struggled further in today.
Yeah, I don't either, and you know, he bowled a pretty good game against Amleto. I don't, unless the lanes broke down that much during the commercial breaks and the practice that they had prior to the start of this match.
6-7 here, guys. Tough split, and he'll just take out the 6. So an open early for Chris Barnes. He had the front 6, then struggled a bit at the end of the semifinal after he wrapped it up against Amleto Monacelli. Suddenly now down by 12 pins. 3rd frame for him, and Jaros has been so solid. And clean all day. Can he stay there for another TOC title? Great shot on that lane by Chris Barnes.
Well, he went light and then pretty high flush on that lane. And Jason, what kind of adjustment does Chris Barnes make?
I think he should move a little further back to the right, pick up the speed a little bit, hold the ball on line. Use that to your advantage. Use the speed with the friction to throw another strike.
Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, Jason Couch, 11-time titleist here in the booth today. Erica Herskowitz, lane level. Jason has 4 majors, including the only three-peat in TOC history.
Come on.
So he knows exactly what it's like for Steve Jaros trying to repeat as champion of this event.
Dave, you shorted Jason 2 titles. He's got 13, like me. Did you say 11? I think you said 11.
I meant 13.
You meant 13.
Right.
You know, I'm just like that. I say a lot of things that I don't mean, and then I can't take them back because it's too late. But anyway, listen, Steve Jaros right now, Jason Couch, straighter is greater. When they start getting a little goofy, a lot of play, the front ends with that light volume starting to break down a little bit. He's able with the lower rev rate to get the ball through the front part of the lane, and right now, being a little bit straighter looks like it's the right option.
You know, he has changed balls since that semifinal match, and but he's staying in the same zone. And you either chased it in, or you stayed in the same zone with maybe something that went a little straighter. The guys that have chased it in today have paid the penalty.
That's a great point. See how his ball just lays there?
Wow, all 10 down for Jaros from Chicago. Jason won the Chicago area in addition to Fountain Valley this year, your 2 titles. Jaros has a lead on Chris Barnes. We'll see how the early open affects him. A major title on the line when we return to Connecticut. 2 PBA greats. Barnes, Jaros head-to-head here in the final. Steve Jaros a 12-pin lead midway through the championship match. Be sure to head to the Tour's official website at PBA.com for all the latest news, information, and fan polls. This past week, fans were able to vote for their favorite player in order to round out the field for the upcoming Motel 6 Roll the Riches event. Norm Duke, Pete Weber voted in. Scroggins, Jones, Walter A. Williams Jr. already in this winner-take-all special event via winning their majors. So there you see the vote count as well. Jason Couch, 13th out of 14. Sorry.
Appreciate it, Dave.
But at least you're on there. I mean,
same amount of titles, guys.
What's your favorite song? I've got friends in low places. Right now, Chris Barnes needs a friend on the right lane.
He doesn't strike here. He's in some serious trouble.
He does strike.
A little better. What do you think, Jason? Maybe a wee bit move to the right there? Try to get a little closer to Jaros?
If he did, he made the right move, and he certainly had to pick up the ball speed.
And the reason for more ball speed is?
You're closer to the friction zone. You slow up, it's going to go dead through the face.
Exactly.
Barnes got to win this event, guys, to make that Motel 6 Roll the Riches event. Perfect shot there. Had Tommy Jones won, because TJ had the U.S. Open, Barnes would have been in via the fan vote because 3 fan vote spots would have been in. He finished number 3 in the list we saw a moment ago. So now, to defend his title in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, $200,000 first place prize, he's got to win here today. 2-pin match. 5th frame, Jaros. We saw him intently looking at the oil a moment ago in the breakdown. Pin, man, shrapnel everywhere.
This is the only lane I've left a solid 8 on all week.
And he hasn't bowled on this pair all week.
Well, you know what? It's unbelievable. He's bowled his last 3 games on TV in this building. He's left a stone 8.
Unreal. For the title of the Dexter Tournament of Champions, the last thing you want to have happen to you when you're on a couple of strikes is leaving solid 8 pins.
Not only is it a great shot, but now it puts Barnes right back in the match. It's a 1-pin game.
Let's take a look at both players' paths to the pocket.
Who's blue? Jaros?
Jaros blue, Barnes red. Check it out. They're pretty close to one another right here. And that's a good sign, especially for Chris Barnes. Get away from that, trying to move deeper inside and stay as far right as you can and as close to your opponent as he can.
A year to the day. Steve Jaros won his first ever major. Back here again in Connecticut.
That looked left, and the ball held pocket the whole way, didn't it?
Absolutely. He was definitely looking at the oil lines on the lane when he was sitting down, waiting for Barnes to bowl his last couple shots.
So do you think he made an adjustment in game, even though he was on? Even the last 2 shots he's thrown on the lane went strike, and he obviously hit the pocket. He hasn't missed the pocket yet.
But there's not a doubt in my mind he did make maybe a 1-and-1 on boards adjustment to the inside. This week the volume was so light you had to keep chasing it. Even if you were playing him straight, you had to still move a little bit every year of the other frame.
Big shot, Chris Barnes. With his family, has some exhibitions set in England coming up. European trip, but boy, he sure would like to take this TOC title with him over there across the pond. Most career wins without a TOC title. How about that? Some unbelievable names here. Hall of Fame types, including Parker Bone III and Brian Voss, who, along with Walter Ray, competed this week. We'll see Walter Ray at the Motel 6 Roll to Riches in Dallas. Not an easy event to win, obviously. Confidence is back with Chris Barnes, Jason.
Stone 8 for Steve Jaros. Just put him behind the 8 ball by 9 pins. He's got to step up and forget about it and make a great shot right here.
Just a great shot by Chris Barnes. Now, the question is, no matter what Steve Jaros does the rest of the game, this tournament is Chris Barnes to win or lose. If he finishes 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, he shuts out Steve Jaros. It's all about what Chris Barnes, or how Chris Barnes, performs in the 8th, 9th, and 10th.
And I think Chris needs to go up there and do it to get the demons off his back.
Yeah.
Great shot there by Jaros.
Steve answers.
Boy, if he carries a solid 8 in the 5th frame, you know, he can strike out for 280, and it's just amazing. He threw a perfect shot in the 5th frame, and he trails.
Told us this week, felt very relaxed.
Wait on it, roll it.
Because he was defending the title, didn't feel a tremendous amount of pressure. All about shot making. Right times for Steve Jaros. This is one of those times.
Step a little. Yeah. He's rock solid. I mean, when Steve Jaros has a little confidence and he's got a look, nothing affects this guy. Nothing gets in his dome. I mean, he goes stone 8 and he comes right back with a 3-bagger, Jason.
He knows he needs the confidence to stay in there, and I think with the experience he's gained over the last couple years on TV, he's going to be very difficult to beat in this match.
Wow. We had a lot of high-scoring matches from the round of 32 through 16 through 8, best of 5 matches. Now, in the final, the numbers are way up there. Eighth frame, looks for a 6-bagger. Has it.
Well, whatever move he made on that lane was tremendous because they've been rock solid ever since.
Yeah, and right now he's getting all up in Steve Jaros' grill going, want some? Another re-rack on that same lane, that left lane, Jason. Buying time?
I think he's just buying time, Randy. The racks are pretty good all week, and, you know, you want to take a little extra time here and make a great shot. Important frame.
Are we doing a promo?
Jason, I want to ask you about the re-rack buying time. Don't you think that maybe you can overthink it, and the more time you have, that could be a bad thing?
Yeah, but Chris is a field bowler. He just wants to make sure he's got a really good feel on that thumb hole, because if he doesn't, he's going to pull up and balk anyways. So just get up there the first time and let it go.
Foundation frame for Barnes. 10-pin. That would have been big.
I'll tell you who it's real big for is Steve Jaros now, because Steve Jaros can get up in the 9th and 10th and defend his Dexter Tournament of Champions crown. Not a bad shot here, Jay, but just a little flat. And, you know, he talked about all week long it being able to get his ball to roll through the pins. That was key for Carey. That one obviously did not.
Takes his 10-pin. Now, Randy and Jason, you know what the pressure's like to bowl for a major. Jason, 3-peat, only time ever in TOC history. 4 majors. Randy, you've won a major. What is it like, guys? Randy, start with you about Steve Jaros now. So much on his plate.
I say it, you know, no matter what the tournament is, you don't want to think about anything. You want to put it in autopilot and bowl subconsciously. Let your body make the motion without thinking. Are you kidding me?
Boy, that looked really slow, guys. That looked really slow.
Should have jumped in more.
Well, this is going to come down to the 10th frame, and with a spare here, Steve Jaros is going to be at 227. He can strike out for 237. Chris Barnes can go strike spare in the 10th frame, and we'd have a tie. And Jason, you're right. It did look slower, but it could have been slower because the lane broke down. He didn't move in far enough, and the ball hooking early actually made it slower.
Well, now Steve has to decide, was it slow or did the lane break down? What's he going to do over here now? Is he going to make the move and come in light, or is he going to stick to it and throw a great shot and throw it solid and be perfect?
That's a great point.
What a great break.
Got one back.
That was a big one.
One back. He got a good break in the 9th, not splitting, and he gets a really good break there, so it makes up for a couple of stone 8s, but now he has to make a move.
He has to make a move in because that ball picked up awful early.
If he doesn't strike on this ball, Chris Barnes will win his 2nd major with any kind of mark in the 10th frame.
Correct.
Left lane breakdown.
Come on. Oh, that's good. Come on.
Well, it looks like he made the move, and it might have been too much. Now Chris Barnes can step up. Any kind of mark, Chris Barnes takes that monkey, throws him right off his back.
There's the 10 pin. And there's the day for Steve Jaros. Chris Barnes just needs a mark.
I would think the only thought I would have right now would be to not get soft with my speed. I want to be nice and firm, and I want to jam it right in the 1-3 pocket.
If it's a flat 10, it's in a spare, it's a winner.
Absolutely. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's a ringing 10.
All he needs is a spare and something down the middle.
Never easy.
Regroup, make your spare, take your time. You're a champion.
How fast do you think that heart's beating right now, Jay?
This ball's going to get down there with some miles per hour on it.
1 pin for a 2nd major.
Terrible luck.
Still need 2 pins there, Barney. Let's go.
Stay behind the foul line, guys. And Chris Barnes, for the 2nd time in his career, is a major champion.
Yeah! Is there a better way to end the streak than that? Thanks, guys. And Kevin, we're definitely going fishing tomorrow. Like 6 figures can make up for a lot of things. Make all those mistakes for a reason sometimes. Thanks to all you that voted for me for the Roll to Riches. I appreciate it.
He's earned a spot. He's going back to the Roll of Riches in Dallas to defend his title. 2nd major, $100,000. Chris Barnes takes the 2006 Dexter Tournament of Champions, unseating the reigning champ, Steve Jaros. Defense fantastic Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino, and a fantastic day for Chris Barnes. 234, 227, a win over Steve Jaros in the final. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, Jason Couch, and Erica with you. Jason, let's start with you. Comments from today's win.
Well,
first let's talk to Erica with Chris Barnes. Guys.
I'm here with Chris Barnes. Chris, 1 in 12 coming into this event in 13 TV matches. I guess you only like the six-figure paychecks, huh?
Well, I'd like to think that I only show up for the big ones, but you know, everybody out here is great, and I haven't always bowled my best games in some of these tournaments, but you know, these six-figure checks even out a whole lot of those other ones.
Now you have a chance to defend your title at the Motel 6 Roll to Riches in a couple of weeks. How does that feel?
Well, it feels great. I happened to see the graphic in between that said that I didn't get voted in, and I'm like, oh. Okay, yeah, great. You're down 10, and to the guy hasn't lost a match in 2 years. Now you have to win, or you have no chance to go back. So, you know, that's a fantastic opportunity. But right now, winning the Tournament Champions is that's pretty high on my list.
Congratulations. Dave, back to you.
Erica, thank you. Chris Barnes raises the trophy again. Jason, what do you think now?
Phenomenal job by Chris today. He got the monkey off his back. Good for him.
Chris Barnes did everything he was supposed to do. He was in the right place mentally. That's what got him the win.
Guys, PBA Skills Challenge coming up next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For the entire crew, special commentator Jason Couch, Randy Peterson, Erica Herskowitz, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from the Mohegan Sun. Coming up next year on ESPN, stay with us, Women's Trick Shot Magic Billiards. What a day, Chris Barnes. Lucky number 7. That's his career title number now. A TLC winner as well.